Anton von Leeuwenhoek was a microbiologist and tradesman. He is known as the father of microbiology and considered to be the first microbiologist. Anton was born in the Netherlands and grew up in a city known as Delft. His father, a basket maker, died when Leeuwenhoek was young, only 5 years old. After this tragedy, he went to live with an uncle of his. His uncle was a lawyer and was able to help Leeuwenhoek reinforce his education. His mother remarried to a man named Jacob Molgen, who was a painter. Leeuwenhoek had only attended school for a short time before his stepfather then died. When he became 16, he became an apprentice in Amsterdam at a textile shop. Amsterdam was famous for its prosperous trade. After 6 years in the city, Leeuwenhoek left. He returned to Delft and married Barbara de May. He opened a draper shop there in Delft with his knowledge from Amsterdam. Leeuwenhoek became a very popular figure in his hometown of Delft. At age 28, he became manager of operations for Delft's meeting hall. He made very good money while doing this. Leeuwenhoek gained quite the resume, as just a few years later he was appointed as supervisor for all of Delft's wine trade, and just a few years later after that became an official land surveyor for the city. With his wife, Leeuwenhoek had 5 children, however only one survived infancy. Leeuwenhoek's interest in microscopy began when he visited England in 1668. Robert Hooke had released a book by the name Micrographia. The book was a bestseller at the time and contained info on all of Hooke's discoveries with his microscopes. This was important for Leeuwenhoek because it included Hooke's examinations of cloth through his microscopes. And being an owner of a textile shop, this naturally intrigued Leeuwenhoek. The microscopes were powerful enough to examine the quality of the cloth. This sparked Leeuwenhoek's beginnings in microscopy. Micrographia also contained Hooke's models of microscopes and how to craft them. Leeuwenhoek was able to reproduce microscopes much alike Hooke's. However, Leeuwenhoek's lenses were of much higher quality and allowed him to delve deeper into the microscopic world. While Hooke's lenses allowed him to magnify objects up to 40 or 50 times, Leeuwenhoek's magnified approximately 300 times. He never released his secrets to making his pristine lenses to the public. In fact, he never told anyone. The reason behind this was due to the fact that Leeuwenhoek did not want his lenses being used for the wrong purpose. He thought that if anyone knew how to create his microscopes, then it would take away from the advancements in microbiology. Today we are able to assume that we know how his lenses were made. The lens of a microscope was a small sphere. The smaller the sphere was, the greater the magnification was. Leeuwenhoek had to handcraft these spheres by melting the glass into the desired shape and size. Leeuwenhoek originally planned to use his new microscopes to examine cloth, closer than anyone has done before, but soon he started to examine life under his powerful lenses. Leeuwenhoek made many important discoveries this way. He was the first person ever to see single-celled organisms, thanks to his lenses. When Leeuwenhoek first released his findings to the public, he was greeted with disbelief. It took almost 3 years for these animalcules, as Leeuwenhoek named them, to be accepted by the scientific community. They were only believed once Hooke used one of Leeuwenhoek's microscopes to confirm what he had discovered. 6 years prior, red blood cells were discovered by Jan Swammerdam. Leeuwenhoek used his microscopes to observe them as well. With his high-quality lenses, Leeuwenhoek was able to see what Swammerdam wasn't able to. Leeuwenhoek became the first scientist to accurately describe the shape and size of red blood cells. However, this is just the beginning. In 1676, Leeuwenhoek discovered bacteria by using one of his microscopes to observe a sample of pond water. An entire century passed before anyone else even observed bacteria. This proves just how advanced his microscopes were for the time. Leeuwenhoek was praised greatly for his many discoveries and contributions to the scientific community. He died later in 1723 at age 90. His death was caused by a rare disease, which is now known as Leeuwenhoek's disease.